Romeo Challenger is a musician who's been the drummer for the rock band Showaddywaddy since 1973. And he's on the line with us here just now. Good afternoon, sir.
How do you do? Good afternoon to you.
I'm very well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Just looking out the window and I see a bit of sunshine coming out, but it's quite damp at the moment.
Yes, I don't think the sun's here for very much longer, unfortunately. No. So does it bring back loads of memories for you when you listen back to all your hits?
Yeah, to a point where I can even remember recording them, sitting down and discussing how we were going to sort of play the thing, and just generally getting things together. I mean, when I hear "Hey Rock and Roll," which was our first hit, it takes me back to actually getting down around the drums and sort of working out what I'm going to play. So it's just great memories, actually.
And Showaddywaddy spent 209 weeks on the UK singles chart and had 10 top 10 singles, including a number 1. What was it like to have all that success?
It's a great feeling because, I mean, we didn't get into the business to actually have hits and all that. All we wanted to do was just to work, get on stage and entertain people. So having all those hits is like the icing on the cake. And the fact that we weren't actually pursuing that side of it was even better because it was just fantastic. We loved it. A lot of people we knew and all that, coming up and saying how good it is, schoolmates and everything. So, yeah, it was very, very good. The thing is, we enjoyed it. And it was just great to sort of be in that position, especially, as I said before, it wasn't something we pursued at all.
Yeah. Do you think the fact that you didn't pursue it kind of helped you in a way because maybe after you had one hit, you perhaps weren't expecting another, so you maybe didn't let yourself get carried away?
Yeah, correct. I mean, the thing is that at the time, we were told, I can't remember who said it, but somebody from a record company or something like that. So generally, bands like us who were sort of moved into sort of the pop side of things generally only had about 3 or 4 hits and then your career is over. I mean, it's ridiculous because now, I mean, next year we're going to be together. Showaddywaddy's going to be as before for 50 years.
Yeah. Has all that time gone by in a blink?
It has. It really has. I mean, I just look around and I just think, my God, when you actually say the word 50 years, half a century, and it's just unbelievable. I really can't believe. To me, it just yesterday to me that we were doing like stuff at Top of the Pops, Under the Moon of Love, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the time has just flown by.
And am I right in saying you actually had the most appearances on Top of the Pops than any other artist?
I think so. Possibly Shakin' Stevens might have done one or two more, I think. But we were certainly up in certainly the top 3.
Certainly up there. And it's amazing because in the 70s, there were all sorts of new genres coming out, like disco and punk and new wave, but you managed to fight them off and get to the charts still.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, if you just look back and you think, when we had our first hits, 74, you've got the likes of Led Zeppelin, Genesis, all the progressive bands and all that were doing all that stuff. Really, really great musicians and all that. And on the back of that came the likes of ourselves and Sweet and Mud and all those sort of bands who kind of changed it slightly, because I think a lot of the music that was being put out to the public was probably, when you consider, probably a little, maybe a bit too serious. And for me, the whole point of being in the music business was to make people happy and enjoy themselves and all that. I mean, I do understand there's another side where people can start to think about music and ponder about the lyrics and all the rest of it, but that was never our intention at all. We wanted people to dance, to be happy, get away from their mundane life, and put themselves in an altered state and enjoy.
Now, your biggest hit, your number 1 hit, Under the Moon of Love, Why do you think that's so synonymous with you? Because it is a cover, but I think most people know your version more than the original.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, it's a great song for a start.
Yeah.
I just think it was one of the. If you remember, Paul McCartney wrote a song about silly love songs and all the rest of it. I think it's one of these songs that hits the public straight away. It is a love song, and I think the way it was presented on TV as well sticks in the memory of a lot of people, as well as selling 1 million copies.
Yeah. Now, how did you actually start playing drums yourself?
I started playing drum kit in 1962. That's going back. That what you would call the olden days.
Yeah,
literally. I'd always had music at home. My mum was a great pianist. My family, they were all into music. I listened to a lot of music. Even by up until the age of 12, I was just listening to stuff, and I found that I could actually keep time with some of the records. But I just loved to see all the bands and all the rest of them on TV, and I tried to copy them. I eventually bought a drum kit and started playing around with that. And I just found I could do, three-way coordination, which is, right hand, left hand, and right foot, playing a rhythm there. And it just went on from there. I had lessons, learned to read music and all the rest of it, and turned professional at the age of 19.
Uh-huh. And this drum kit that you bought was £12, I believe.
That's it,
which
right. Yes, it
was a lot
yes.
of money in 1962.
It
I think
was.
it's about 10 times that now. So where did you get the money?
Well, I had to do a morning paper round and an evening paper round to do it. It took me a long time, but I was determined to do this on my own because it was, it's an expensive item as well. And, we weren't flush with money at all. And, it's like anything, I wanted to work for it anyway.
And it was a good investment.
Well, I think so.
Yeah. So you turned professional at 19. What was your first professional thing?
My first professional gig was Bridlington Spa Ballroom.
Ooh.
It was in the days of when you got the hippies sitting down cross-legged, holding joysticks in their hands and all that. It was very progressive and a hippie time, 69,
Yeah.
I think a year later, which is, I think, something that I've never achieved since, and it is one of the pinnacle of me being a musician, was that we played the Isle of Wight Festival in 1970, which was a fantastic experience for me. Also all the bands that I was into, bands like Free and so many other bands. Yeah. And it was brilliant. I just loved, playing the Isle of Wight Festival, remembering that was Jimi Hendrix's last British performance, I believe, before he died. I was in a band called Black Widow.
Yeah.
And we did the Thursday, which was like a shop window for all the other bands, up and coming bands at the time. And and the Isle of Wight Festival was going to end with Jimi Hendrix, headlining the whole thing. And and of course, unfortunately, a couple of days later, I think it came into the news that he died.
Yeah.
So the Isle of Wight Festival was fantastic.
That must have been quite a shock.
Well, yes, because I was massively into Jimi Hendrix experience. When I first saw them on Top of the Pops once again, I just couldn't believe it. It actually blew my mind. Just seeing this fantastic band, and I think the song was "Hey Joe." It was, and I went out and bought the album straight away, and I've been a fan since, and I still am. Of Jimi Hendrix.
And how did you actually get involved with this band called Showaddywaddy?
The band that I played at the Isle of Wight Festival, a band called Black Widow, I did 3 albums with them up until 1973. The band folded due to, probably infighting in the band, the lack of success, the general thing. Yeah. And this band I was in, Black Widow, they were we call it a progressive rock band at the time. We were playing music in not 4/4, but 7/8 and 5/8 and 9/4, all the different time signatures you can think of, which was good. But, for us, it wasn't reaching anybody. So anyway, the band folded, and I came back to live in Leicester. So while living there, I have my local newspaper, the Leicester Mercury, which is an evening paper. I thumbed through that, and I looked through the musicians wanted side of it, and it said they wanted, there was a band called Choice looking for a drummer. So I applied for the audition, got the job, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Showaddywaddy is a really unusual name, isn't it? Where did that come from?
Well, Showaddywaddy came from the backing vocals of doo-wop songs.
Yeah.
You'd hear bap bap Showaddywaddy, bap Showaddy. That was as simple as that.
And there's a distinctive look that you've always had as a band as well. Whose idea was that?
What it was, Showaddywaddy, we were playing. Showaddywaddy was two bands actually. Yeah. A band called Choice, which I was in, and that was four of us. And there's the other band was called the Golden Hammers. So it was like an amalgamation of musicians. We all decided on playing late 50s music, doo-wop and all of that. But we looked and we wanted to have a British identity because the Americans never had Teddy Boys. They had their college look, their university, and which in England we never had. We had the sort of Edwardian velvet-collared long drape thing. So we went for that. But then somebody says, well, look, if you're going to do that, why don't we all have different colours and all the rest of it for it to sort of be more of a stage presentation? And basically that's how the image evolved. It was just a remark by somebody, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, you wear pink, I'll wear red, you wear the green and blue and mauve and all the rest of it." So yeah, that's basically what happened.
Yeah. So do you think both those outfits and the unusual name of Showaddywaddy helped your success in a way because people might find it different? Well,
that was part of it. That was part of it. But I mean, the fact that we actually went on stage and did a show. I mean, but you've got to remember the time when we were doing it, everybody was sort of trying to be progressive and musical and do all that sort of stuff. So it was mind blowing to see a band coming out and playing like that. Yeah. And remember, it was an 8-piece as well. So we were doing sort of dance routines while we were doing the songs. So it was drastically different from like Genesis and all the other bands. Drastically different. So anybody who wasn't particularly interested in, Genesis and the progressive side of it, we probably, captured them and captured their imagination and said, well, this is realistic to us and maybe we should follow this band.
No wonder you kept getting bookings on Top of the Pops if you were doing all dancing stuff.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, the thing is, we'd work on a song, to work out the length of it and the arrangement and all that. Yeah. But the dance routine as well was something that we all had to work on as well. So not only were we actually working on the songs itself, we had to find a way how to make a dancing routine attached to it.
As an 8-piece, was it ever hard to organise a time when you were all free, or did it actually end up working most of the time?
No, it wasn't. No. The weird thing about Shubadi was we're one of these weird groups where punctuality was something that we could rely on. It wasn't difficult to get the band together at all. When we were needed, we were all there. Not a problem.
Yeah. And what do you think the secret to Showaddywaddy's everlasting appeal is?
In the 70s, I mean, as I say, we'll go back from the 70s, and our appeal was that we weren't trying to be clever with the music or anything like that. It was just middle of the road stuff. Entertainment. And, it is difficult for me to say why and how. All we ever did was just stick to what we wanted to do, what worked for us. And throughout the 40, 49, next year, 50 years, it continues. We don't change. We're not particularly affected by other bands or other genres out there. We do what we do. It's Showaddywaddy stuff down the line, Take it or leave it.
And how many gigs are you doing a year at the moment?
Actually, I haven't counted, but it's quite a lot.
I heard somebody say once that you broke a world record for doing 300 in a year. Is that right?
Well, I believe so. I mean, I've heard that, but I mean, I don't think we did a lot. I mean, it must have been just that one year. But I mean, we have been very, very busy over the years.
And how does touring and performing today compare to how it was all those years ago? I mean, the audience has maybe changed. They've got a bit older, maybe bringing some younger people. But in terms of maybe the music you do and the atmosphere, is that different?
Yes and no. The thing is, what's happened is the Showaddywaddy fans have obviously got older, but we've noticed younger people coming to the gigs, which I presume they've probably heard our stuff being played by their parents, and listen to it and come along and just see and hear what Shubadi was all about. Because I mean, we've had a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, we didn't really know what to expect from Showaddywaddy," but as children, our parents played a lot of stuff, and so we've come along to see, what it was all about.
Yeah. And what are the songs that when you perform them, the audience are gonna go crazy?
Well, all of them. I mean, we've had, I think, 23, 24 hits together. And I mean, obviously, like songs like, You Got What It Takes, Say Rock and Roll, Under the Moon of Love. They're the ones. But it's difficult. All the songs, all of them, get massive reaction from the crowd. Yeah. So, we can only think that all the stuff we do is sort of appreciated by the audience.
Do you have a personal favourite?
Yes, You Got What It Takes.
Why that one?
It's just a great song. It's a song written by Berry Gordy, who was the founder of Tamla Motown. And to me, it's like early R&B rhythm and music. So yeah, I just love the song anyway.
And what's your secret? Because you're still performing after nearly 50 years with Showaddywaddy, and then in general, even more than that. So why do you still love it so much?
It's just me. I can't imagine doing them. I'm going to say I've never done anything else. I have done anything. So when I left school, I was an engineer's apprentice. But, I can't imagine ever doing anything else. It's something that I always wanted to do. And I'm just so lucky and blessed that I'm in the position to do it, health-wise and everything else, Yeah. It's just me. I just love doing it.
Yeah. And what's your best memory of your time with the band so far?
Too many to say. I mean, I do remember when we had our first number one. That was fantastic. Yeah. When that went to number one, that was because I always, I thought, well, we got into the music business and we started selling records, which we didn't want to, which we didn't pursue. But to have a number one was incredible once again. So I do remember, when I got phoned up by the management and say, "Oh, you're number one now," and that was just a fantastic and brilliant feeling.
Now you're doing shows all the time, of course, and I've got a few dates here. You're going to be in Dunfermline on the 7th of October, brand new city, Dunfermline. Then Greenock, Morecambe, St Helens, Skegness, Middleton, Yarm, Bolton, Bromley, Guildford, Frome, Malvern, St Albans, Grimsby, Crawley, Holmfirth, Warrington, Sturminster in Dorset. And that's just some of them for the rest of the year. And then next year you're doing even more. So you're going to be very busy.
Yeah, because next year will be the 50th year anniversary. So we'll be doing, special gigs and stuff like that,
Yeah, absolutely. And what else is coming up for you? Anything? Or do you just do shows and stuff at the moment?
Just do shows. Just shows, yeah.
Excellent. Well, where can we keep up to date with you and find out all the news about Showaddywaddy that we need to know?
Well just go to Showaddywaddy.net and you'll find all the information there.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for joining us today. It's been great to talk to you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.